Like like I'm from Southside, but like I'm about to be 40. Like I'm tired. Like you hear it. Like I'm like,
no, yo, listen. At the end of the day,
I love it.
Just be you.
Of course.
And sometimes we critique ourselves too much.
Right. And I'm very content with my life, but it's just like, you always hit you with the like, damn, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or if I would have did that, But this world, this universe, or how you're going through life, it's just ebbs and flows. And
but is that comparison to something that you view, like we all have a view of what success is, and sometimes comparison is a thief of joy, right?
Yeah.
And if you're saying, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, right, like you just said. But what if this is your story at the end of the day?
Right.
And
it's
we all
not
just
over.
trying to figure it out.
And it's not over. It's just the fact that right now, it's like,
that's all we got.
Right. So I'm still on the ground. But I'm ahead of a lot of the people
That's comparison.
Yeah, it is comparison. 'Cause I'm trying to make sure I don't fucking, go back in my house like my life stinks,
But now, what fuels your
family?
Family,
which I don't have. You know what I mean? I've been on my own for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, we're recording.
Oh yeah.
I turn that on. I always turn that on in secret because that's when you get some of the best stuff right there.
Yeah, you do.
But this is how you roll into episode. I think I love that when you just roll in. You just have that professional polished stuff. Sometimes that doesn't work.
Of course, and like I said, when it comes to family, like it's not like I'm always reaching out for family, but I've been through so much in my life that masonry is important to me. That's why I really joined Freemasonry.
Right.
Not just saying, oh, I want to join a fraternity. It's been in my family for generations. I'm talking about separate bathrooms.
Well, I'm gonna stop you there. This is brother. Go ahead, continue. We're gonna roll into that.
Well, we'll pop right from here
right
into our intro. This is the Fourth Part Podcast, a podcast made by Freemasons to be enjoyed by all. The opinions of the hosts and the guests are their own and do not reflect any Grand Lodge stance or opinion. And now here are your hosts, the grumpiest past master and the OG Danielson. And then, so brother, introduce yourself.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank y'all for having me. Hello, everybody. My name is Brother Anthony Walsh. I'm a past master of Connect Quad Lodge, number 838 in Sayville, New York. I am also a honorary member of David W. Parker Lodge, number 72 of the most worshipful Prince Edward Grand Lodge of the state of New York. And I've also done many different works in different jurisdictions, but mostly Suffolk Masonic District and the Furious 4th District of the most worshipful Prince Edward Grand Lodge of the state of New York. I'm also a member of Royal Lodge chapter in Smithtown. I'm drawing a blank right now because I haven't been in the
because the lights and the cameras are on here. That's why.
Yeah.
He spoke at our first degree, didn't he?
Yeah. I think
I don't know if you remember that.
Really?
2014.
So, what did I perform? A lecture?
Listen, now our first degree was the first in a long time.
Yeah.
And you came, you did a lecture, and
yes, it was the first degree lecture.
You blew my ears off.
With
and I'm
Mike.
like, whoa, what is going on here?
With Mike. Yeah, with Mike.
I was looking for the batteries in your back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what's going on here? This guy can't be real.
Let me tell you, it was a great experience. And the reason why I chose to learn the first degree lecture is because it really teaches that foundation, that checkerboard, that you are coming into something blindly, and I'm trying to show you something at least on the ground floor, which is nothing, and it's scary, it's dark. I'm afraid with you, brother, because I don't know what's going on either. As an idea, because I'm presumed to have wisdom, You know, I'm presumed to have wisdom as a master. You know, but at the same time, I know nothing as well as you. I'm trying to hold your hand because you're my family.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about family before. You know, I'm out there too.
Yeah.
That's one thing, you know, fear no evil.
Right.
Trust your brother. That's one thing about this fraternity. It doesn't promote hazing.
Right.
You go in, and that's a stigma that we've somehow acquired.
I know.
But you know, to fear no evil, and
Right.
trust your brother as you come into that darkness.
Right. And what people forget is there's only one time that you're left alone
Right.
in the first 3 degrees. There's only one time. Every other time, there's a brother there with you.
Yeah,
Every step of the way.
it's interesting.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I don't know if this is going to get outside to the common people.
This is this is
Yeah,
going to
it
be out
will,
on the
yeah.
internet,
This is
so keep
everybody.
it
Right,
keep it
right.
kosher. But you
There
know the
is.
part I'm talking about.
Oh,
There's only one
indeed, I
little
do.
section that you're left alone, and you're not completely alone. The senior
Right.
deacon's standing right there with you, but
Absolutely.
it's supposed to be your
It's supposed to be your
own
experience.
your own little moment
Right,
by
right,
yourself with
right,
your own
right.
with your mind.
Right.
But everything
right.
else, like,
Which
don't fear it. We're here with you during this,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
99% of the time, the brother's holding on to you.
Absolutely.
You know.
I agree with that. And when it comes to that particular part, which is a great experience, you have to know that is your journey, which I'm piggybacking off of you. That right there, that's the beginning of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course, when you give in the petition and you're hanging out, you're doing fellowship, you're doing all that, when you go around for that particular time and feel that experience, and then when you come to that light, oh, wow. Now is the time to me to really understand. Now, if I see you in the street and I'm like, okay, you know, I see
Yeah.
some light on you, you know, the rapport is already there because you've been there.
You've been everybody. It doesn't
there.
matter. You see that square and compass,
Right.
and you already know.
But
This-
you still got to use that name, that
You have
first
to.
particular name that
You have to.
You have to remain in that particular thing because you don't know where people came from.
Yeah.
You know, but here's the thing, though. I don't even know what the topic is going to be at, but I'm just take it there.
we're vibing.
You're gonna be out there, and you're gonna be traveling for you know. All right, so you're gonna meet somebody. You're gonna have some light on them. Yeah, they might not be from your particular jurisdiction or that same walk of life, but they are Masons. So you're gonna disrespect them because they're not from a recognized joint. I mean, you don't have to go to their meetings, but you can still meet them on the level of some as
Yeah.
a brother.
Well, that is because that's kind of the point, is that there's that shared experience. Even though if you go through different jurisdictions,
Correct.
different Grand Lodges around the world, there may be slight variations,
Indeed.
but it is the same shared
thing.
experience around the world for centuries and centuries.
Absolutely.
You know, and so Danny and I, just to give you a little like background on the podcast, we don't have a format. We don't have topics. Me and him might, you know, be like, let's start with this, maybe, kind of thing. And we have these long conversations, me and him, after lodge. Sometimes we're 3-4 hours. Me and him are just jawing at you know,
Word.
downstairs, just talking about stuff. And that's kind of where we got to the point where, like, we could probably film this. We could probably put this on, and
That's a fact.
we do it with each other. Brothers will come into conversations. This is like kind of like how we, like, you know, it's beautiful to have you here.
Oh my God, I'm
we'll
so-
bring brothers in,
I'm
you
so
know, because this is
grateful.
the stuff we do down in the collation room.
Absolutely.
You know, and
That's
brothers
the-
come into the
yeah.
conversation, they leave the conversation. So I would say maybe the format of this podcast is it's just
Serendipity.
one long conversation.
That's what's up.
And brothers will come, brothers will go. You come back whenever you want.
I
Jump
am
in, jump out,
grateful.
and you know,
'Cause,
just
yeah,
talk, man.
free-
Just talk
free-
about stuff,
free
because this is how
masonry.
we are. This is the time we're in lodge is a very small amount of time. You know, brothers, when we spend time downstairs or at charity events
That's what
or
make it
everything
work.
else,
That's how you make it work.
right? That's the majority of the time of us being, and then you out in the world on your own. That's the majority of the time where you're being a Mason.
Right. Right.
So why not show how we are outside of that structured, you know, buttoned up.
One thing I want to say about how Babylon brought in the brothers from the 4th district and say, hey, we got a spot for you guys if you want to rent from here. That right there made me feel so good because back in the day, I would say, I'm talking about back in our day, I got raised in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing compared to what it is.
So like
now.
Ray, when Ray was just on
Right.
for the Craftsman Chronicle thing we did,
Right.
He's 85 years old.
Right, and I'm blown away by what he was saying. I'm like, wow, dang, I was even around. Shoot, 30.
He graduated high school the year my mother was born.
Right.
He's been working on himself that
You know
whole
what I'm
time.
saying? Like the Model Ts was going. You know what I'm saying?
But,
You know,
yeah, if
you
you're
know,
lucky enough.
Yeah, I would say probably like a.
I don't know if he'd appreciate. I don't think he's that
man,
old.
that's right. We're
I mean,
recording.
he was born in the 30s. He was born in the 30s, but
Right. So I would say the
different
50. So I would say like a Buick,
he graduated high school in
the Grand National.
1955.
You know.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the Corvette came out that year.
What was it? The single top? The T tops was the 60s.
You know, it's convertible 55, I believe.
1955 was like
Yeah.
the heyday
Yes,
of
that's
like,
right. My bad.
the custom deluxe,
Yeah,
like
custom
the
yeah,
Chevy,
yeah.
and the Bel Air.
Oh, the big.
Yeah, the tanks.
Yeah, the tanks.
Yeah, the road battleships.
I know. I remember. I used to love those Cadillac styles with the big tails and all that. Like,
Yep.
I love that. But like, in respect to that, like, just when I got raised, and I started traveling or whatever, and they was like, oh, they meaning the other jurisdictions, the Prince Hall guys. Oh, yeah, I always wanted to go to that lodge. Or, well, nah, they didn't want us there. I was like, nah, give me some time. So when Ray was talking about going through the chairs, I was in the master ceremony seat twice because they was like, oh, I don't know if you read it up because I was so on fire. I was like, nah, we got to do it like this, and then I was moving too fast for them. But as I'm getting on my eyes, so, I got to take my time. But when the time was right, brought him to Riverhead because Tyree Lodge is in Riverhead. Mm-hmm. So I said, yo, boom. All right, I'm going to set up a meeting. We could just have a little something on a Saturday. Met it up on Saturday. DD approved it. There, DD or the CCFC. The CCFC is somebody who's like, okay, where you going? Where you go? You going out of jurisdiction? All right, where you going? They just want to let people know where they're going.
Right. It's kind of like what our grand secretary
Yeah,
does
safety.
in the 23rd Street.
Right.
Just let us know where you're going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's okay. That's okay to do that.
Yeah, they're just looking after you. That's all.
Right.
Just making sure everything's all right.
Right. And so guess
And
what?
it's a good courtesy to throw to the lodge.
That's what I was gonna say
Hey,
about
just
a
so you know,
social
we got a guy coming in. You don't have anything crazy going on. That
Right.
night, type of
Right.
thing,
Nothing spurious. Or
Yeah,
something suspect.
we're not going to be. This guy showing up is not going to throw a wrench into your night.
Spurious.
It's like,
Danny, we talked about getting you a thesaurus. Now I'm gonna have to.
yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to get you a
I
dictionary.
got you a wordsmith, so.
I got you a spurious in a minute. So long story short with this, so they came there. Most of them guys never even walked into that lodge. And they've been Masons for 20, 30 years. And then same way. I never met a Prince Hall brother. So why you guys do it like this, do it like that? When they walked in, everybody sat on one side. Everybody said, I said, nah, you sit with your brother that you know. You know him from Riverhead Hospital. How come you can't sit with him now?
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a great experience. There was a lot of cobwebs that got shook out. But then Babylon, y'all made it work.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm proud of you.
It was a big deal when I spoke to, because they were looking for a home.
Mm-hmm.
And, me and Matt had spoke about you can never have too much masonry. So to have all walks of life and to have Prince Hall and our jurisdiction under the same roof,
Come on.
steel sharpens steel. And we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses.
Of
and we
course.
can learn from each other.
And support each other.
And support
because we
each other.
support each other. They come to our
Numbers.
events, we go
Yeah.
to their events.
You know what I'm saying?
It's masonry's masonry, man.
It's
agree.
it's built bridges where people thought it wasn't possible. And it's funny, I've walked into lodge and they're having their meeting and I might see a brother and he'll say, oh, I went to school with this brother. The current worshipful master for Huntington 124 is a good friend of mine that I went to high school with. And he was asking me about masonry and I, to see him walk in, because it's funny, you want to own your own journey.
Yeah.
So he would ask me questions, and I was waiting for him to ask me, well, how did I get in, or ask me for a petition.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in, and even though it was to another lodge, I was so proud that he took hold of his journey at that point in time? Because a lot of times people don't think destinations. Well, they think destinations are only at the end of a road somebody else paved.
Right.
They don't want to make their own way. So
Right.
to own your journey, and when I walked in and I saw him there, I was like, whoa, this is big. Because like you said, to be in the dark.
I know.
Who brought you into masonry?
You know what? That's a great. I hate saying that's a great question. No, but you know what? Let me put you on. Like, all right. So I was a little kid, and everyone has these stories, whatever. So it had to be when I was like 7 years old, 7, 8, when I was conscious enough to understand myself, but still like, hey, mommy, I need this, or ma, nana. My grandpops. He always used to go out dressed up. And then he'd be like, where you going? And I was a nosy kid. I was very, very conscious. And then my mom and everybody, no, Grandpa going to the Prince Hall. Like, what is the Prince Hall? I thought it was the Kingdom Hall Jehovah's Witness or something, So then he dropped his book. I remember this day. It was a small red book. And it had triangles and T's and all that stuff in it. And then they laughed. He's like, yeah, you don't know what that is, right? Because I'm going through it. I'm like, something's crazy with this book. Like, why you got all these symbols? Like, I don't know what symbols. I don't know the word symbol. But, like, what are these things? That's what really got me interested in something that I didn't know. So then my boy Kenneth Rhodes, your brother Kenneth Rhodes, who's from Publicity Lodge number 1000 in the Grand Lodge in New York.
Love the flavor.
Yeah, well, you have to do it like that. Publicity Lodge number 1000.
The brothers in antiquity do that.
Yeah,
Lovely.
And so they met upstairs in the Colonial Room.
Over in Grand Lodge.
Yes.
23rd.
And now there's no more Colonial Room apparently because they renovated and they sold that floor to someone.
We actually have the pillars to that downstairs.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That room was amazing. To sit in that chair that someone sat in 180 years ago, amazing. So Kenneth Rhodes, him and I went to school together. We went to junior high school together. And he got rose. He was in the Army. He got raised up. And then I hit him up. I was like, yo, what's that light about? He's like, what you know about that light? I said, trust me, brother, we can talk. So I met him. He did it traditionally. He did it he said, you got to meet 3 times. I said, boom, where you want me to meet you? Come to Manhattan. Took the went from Patchard, drove Manhattan. We went to a basketball game. I thought we was gonna go to the Rucker because we on some hood stuff. We'd be uptown, like that's how we do. I thought we was gonna go to Rucker and get down with it.
New York.
Right.
Yeah.
So because
Real New York.
I love
Real New
being
York.
up there. I love walking the streets and feeling that that hot air. You know what I'm saying? And so we met actually downtown. Was watching a basketball game like the third string of the Knicks and all that. The scouting teams.
Yeah.
So I was watching them play. So that's the first time. Second time we met in Chelsea. Ended up going to what's the fake not Chick-fil-A. What's the one they give you the bowls? This McDonald's, but the Spanish food, not Qdoba, but the other one.
Oh,
But the McDonald's, Chipotle. They own McDonald's owns it.
Yeah. If Chipotle wants to sponsor us,
Right.
yeah.
disregard. Disregard.
But I'm just saying. So we met there a third time. He was like, all right, I'm gonna sponsor you to join, but you got to find the closest lodge. Again, traditional. You have to find the closest lodge in community because it's supposed to be community oriented. So I said, boom, Connecticut Lodge. He saw my petition. I put it in there. Didn't hear nothing until September. I didn't know it went dark. So I get called like, hey, we got your thing. You're in. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't even meet y'all yet. What are you trying to do? Because I'm worried about money. Why you want my money? So I went down there. Amazing guys. They're a little older, about 2-3 generations older than me, but they was all right. They were cool, and the first degree was amazing. They knew their work. Second degree was great. The third degree, the raising that was amazing. Had to tell my superintendent, yo, I'm about to be raised because he was a brother on the Prince Horse. I was like, I'm about to be raised. I need tomorrow off. He was just like, son, go, because he knows what it is. Because it was. The expectation was it was going to be a long night.
Did you get any flack from him?
Oh, it could be good flack too, right?
And you know what?
Let's pod.
Let's keep it a stack. I'm going to keep it a stack.
We're building bonds here.
I'm going to keep it a stack. He was like, and mind you, I did get my light from a lot of people on on Prince Hall side because, traditionally.
125th Street. Shout
Right,
out.
because I used to be uptown. And then the Moors and all that. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. That's why you got to go clandestine and spurious people. You don't know who you're dealing with.
Spurious.
You got, they suspect.
Right.
But they're not suspect people. It's just the fact that they're not recognized. You got to know who you being recognized.
Plus, what introduce them into the craft. Too.
Correct. And then
Yeah.
you got to worry about, oh, fine, I don't like you, fine, I'm gonna start my own. But that's a whole nother thing. That's like John, But so anyway, I went there, got raised, great experience. Then I started getting to the seats. And I get into the seats. This is just to answer your question. What did he say? When I got through there, he's like, so how'd you like it? He's like, what are they doing? See, that's the problem. What are they doing with these lodges out here? I don't know. See, because then because I got in, now he wanted to open up. He gave me slack because if you want to do this, you got to do it with the right people. That's what he said.
Amen.
And then I came with the attitude like, all right, boom. I came through fast. Thank goodness I was like, thank God I found the right lodge to do with the right people. And everybody's like, okay. Mind you, didn't know. I was still young. I was wet behind the ears. This is how we do it here. As opposed to, this is how we do it here. Wait a minute, I got
the death sentence from any lodge.
Right.
Well, we've always done it this way.
Oh, and I'm just like,
hate that.
so I'm doing 90 miles an hour, getting through the book. I was like, I'm going to learn a lecture because this is what they said. I was in the marshal seat twice. I was steward once, master ceremony. Marshal. That's what it was. Marshal. Then junior deacon, senior deacon. Then the pillars. So really 9 years it took me.
You paid your dues.
I paid my dues. I earned it. So everybody before
Can
me.
I get that one more time? I earned it.
I earned that. I earned my seat in the East. All right? So check this. And I'm not throwing no shade at it. I'm giving you my story.
It's hard work, brother.
So then, you got to learn a lecture to start getting into the pillar seats. All right, boom. I'm learning, not even an apron. Give me the first degree lecture. It's on now. All right, I want the first degree. 14 pages, too easy. I got it. I'm doing it at work.
Nothing
better than doing it on job time.
Right. So then I was senior deacon, right? And doing the first degree lecture. So it's like, I can do the senior deacon work for you since you do it. Nah, I want to do the work. I did the senior deacon. I did the first degree lecture. And then at the third degree, did the senior deacon's work, because that's work that you working. But then every degree, I did that senior deacon's work with because sometimes people like to switch it out because no, it's too much work. Put that work in because that's the best seat.
I've done that, and I want to say something for that. I know it's important for you because you hit certain milestones, and you shown yourself to be capable of doing it, right? But for a brother on the side, for a brother who's watching from the sideline, you're showing it could be done. And that's the hardest part in attaining any knowledge, attaining any credential, is paving the way and showing it can be done. Yeah, I could, listen, give me 2 weeks. I got it.
Word.
Yeah. And being supportive of those brothers and say, listen, you don't have to, right out of the gate, do the middle chamber lecture.
No.
Like, there's a very few amount of people that can spit out the middle chamber and then do it with passion and not just be like, I'm a robot.
Correct.
And we're fortunate on Long Island. We've got 2 in our district that I know of. I'm sure there's more. I've personally seen 2 people. We got Johnny in our lodge, and there's a brother from Jepta Lodge.
I know
they do. George Wazoo too.
I'm sorry, 3. I'm sorry. Yeah,
George is good.
Sorry, George.
Oh, man.
There's 2 in our lodge, and there's one up in Jepta. The brothers, his name is slipping me at the moment, but man, you hear them give the middle chamber lecture, and they're like, what beach are we storming? What country are we invading? I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
There's a brother in my lodge. He's a past district deputy grandmaster. And he does the middle chamber lecture very, very well. With that being said, I've heard it so many times where it's so robotic that you just don't know what you just going through that. He's like, okay, my brothers, Take the
And
Yeah.
they're
Take
falling asleep while
Right.
this is happening. This
Right.
is one of the most
Take 3 steps
important
this way.
parts.
And
Right.
it's nothing to take away from the brother that delivers it that way.
Not-
we get it. It is.
Yeah.
I,
I totally
could
get it.
not in a million years. I mean, I've tried. It is a lot.
It is.
What is it like?
24 pages.
I was going to say 20 something
But
pages
let me
24
ask you a
pages.
question.
of ritual and
Old book. I have the old book, and I mean, listen.
even the new book. There's the short form is not by no means short,
I'm an
but the
old
long
book
form is
person,
like.
I don't care.
But the
But
long
now-
form is like. Whew,
Is that the difference between getting it done and being finished?
I like what you said. You want to get it finished. That means you go like this. No, my brother's going to
Right.
Some of that
But
can be
getting it-
nerves, though,
but-
right? Some of
Yes.
that could be nerves.
Yes.
And it's
You know, because like
endless.
they worked on it. Maybe they probably sound totally different
Yeah.
when they do it on their own, talking to themselves or in their own
Yeah.
head.
But again,
you know?
it's
and then you
it's
get in
getting
front
the
of people and
job
you're like,
done,
you know, and it just becomes like I gotta
happened-
get it out.
That
you know?
happened with me on the first degree lectures many a times. Sometimes, like I did it when my man, I had a first degree and it was just by himself. I took my time. I walked him around because this was his experience. But then you got 3 or 4 guys, and it's 10:45 at night, and you know they were trying to do it special. I'm just like, all right, so this is what it is. Da, 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 you know, da, da, da.
Yeah.
So you know,
But
I get that.
It's kind of we have to try to remember as brothers that
It's not about me. It's about their
it's about them.
experience.
It's about them. And
Right.
don't worry about the old timers, you know, shuffling around in their seats.
I'm over it.
They've
Exactly.
heard. I know that. I get it, and I've done it too. Like you're like, okay,
Yes.
That's why the lodge
There we
is so
go.
important that you belong to. Like he said earlier, it's not about Prince Hall. It's not about FNAM, 3-letter. It's about
don't forget the 4-letter guys.
Don't forget
the
those-
4-letter
the
guys.
4-letter
I'm sorry,
guys
this
down
is
south.
loud.
and the and letter. That's only
Yeah,
DC.
yeah, right.
And
Right. All brothers.
FAA.
All brothers recognized by the Grand Lodge of England, because that's what we can speak on
Absolutely
as far
correct.
as Masonic intercourse.
Yes.
So I want to kind of actually go back just a smidge.
Oh, please.
Should Masonry look at the clandestine lodges of the world and go, okay, because up in New York and most of down south is getting there. Georgia just became in amity with Prince Hall down in Georgia.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. It's about time.
About time.
And it should be everywhere else
Alabama.
like that. In Alabama.
That was hard. That was a hard one.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not
But
recognized
But you know
by the
what?
Grand
Sometimes
Lodge.
you got to just and
Right.
kudos to that Grand Master and his line for saying, you know what, enough,
Right.
like enough of this, and it's a beautiful thing that brothers can come together and be like, you know what, enough of, again, that term. This is how we've always done it. Enough of that shit.
I agree.
Just say like, we're gonna. This is this. Draw a line in the sand.
to
and
knock
now
down
we're
those
gonna,
walls.
And we're gonna
We
move
have
forward
to.
from there.
Because we have to deal with people. We're losing people. All right? People are dying. And we have to run. We're gonna be able to run this. We have to be able to run this.
Well, look at what brings you to Masonry. You want to be better. So clandestine, again, this is going to be frowned upon, but I'm just going to keep it.
Let's just keep it stacked.
keep
'Cause
it real,
and
though.
don't forget where you came from, because I didn't forget where I was
Right.
from when I was
Yeah,
talking about
right,
those certain
right.
things.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it real because
So
like,
yeah.
Go for it, bro.
And again, what brings a brother to Masonry, clandestine or not? So your initial introduction into Masonry usually consists of somebody who you admire,
My
and-
grandfather.
right, grandfather,
right,
or
a member of the community.
great-grandfather.
even a historic figure. You can say, hey, I like Teddy Roosevelt, and I like the way he molded his life, and
Yeah, I like
you know,
the style,
right?
whatever.
I like so then I see a brother wearing a ring. Hey, I saw that in a documentary. What's that about? Oh, brother, come down to lodge a couple times.
That's a fact.
Right. So now you come down to lodge. Little do you know it's clandestine or it's recognized.
Okay.
Again, what the most important thing about Masonry is discipline. Discipline to follow through with your obligation, ritual or not.
Okay. I see where you're coming from.
And again, also, the attainment of knowledge has become very lazy nowadays. If you're involved in something, make sure it falls in line with your morals, the things that you love, the things that you are a part of, right? You want to be a part of something you're proud of, to be a part of.
Absolutely.
So it's your responsibility to understand every angle, shine the light in all the dark corners, make sure that you're fully involved in your life, because again, the attainment of knowledge has become lazy. We Google things. How many times have you gone to the next page?
Yeah.
You read it, right? The first page.
Right.
And
You're
then,
going deep down the rabbit hole.
yeah, no,
and
you
have to
gotta
just-
do
Oh,
that.
I get deep down
You
the
gotta
rabbit
do
hole.
that.
Yeah.
You
Let's
gotta do
click
that.
through. Click through.
So for the brothers that don't understand, as a recognized lodge, you cannot be associated with a clandestine lodge as far as masonry goes.
It's concerned, right?
It's
Right,
it,
so that goes to like my question is, when does Prince Hall and I don't want to
State lodges.
state
Let's
lodges.
just say
Well,
state
lodges.
lodges.
I don't
Yeah.
want to call them
well can I
regular
can I
lodges.
even,
I don't know what we would even call them because you got
Because-
Prince Hall and then you got
Which are both regular. It's just
right. You're
how-
gonna call
how-
them regular and then like
but again, let's get
the
right.
lodges that
You're right.
are recognized that got their charter from the Grand Lodge of England or can tie their
Lineage.
lineage through another Grand Lodge
When
to the
was
Grand
that
Lodge of
said?
England. So
When was the last time you asked somebody for a dues card?
I have, just because the brothers in this lodge ask me when
Mm-hmm.
if we happen to have somebody come through. I want to say it's probably just before the pandemic because obviously
Yeah.
attendance has been a
So
little light. But
for me, I
you
mean,
know.
you work in the city. You work in Long Island, and you traveled
I
all
have
over the United
traveled.
States.
I
You do
have,
your
sir.
thing. I try, and this is a bit of advice that I can offer some of the newer raised brothers. As far as the specifics in masonry, I don't really get into detail. If you want to get into Masonic intercourse, that sounds fun.
By all means, go right ahead. That's on you.
Go to lodge. Have that in a lodge. But I already know if you're a masonry, you're interested in being a better version of yourself.
Yes.
You're interested in the
so you're
attainment
talking
of
about
knowledge.
asking for a dues
Yeah.
card of somebody I met
Right, yeah.
on the street.
Right, so
Never.
I-
No,
Never
I'm
done.
not doing that.
It's
That's
not-
too
yeah,
deep.
so
I've never done that.
You're dragging it.
The clandestine part of that is irrelevant, right?
Correct.
So you know what? You see a brother, whether he's part of a lodge or not, you know that he's willing to obtain knowledge and all this other stuff. He's trying to be the best version of himself. You know what? At the end of the day, just what brought you to masonry in that sense? Was it history? Was it philosophy? Was it the attainment of brotherhood? Right? Because a lot of, and this is what we figured out doing some of these interviews with some of the older brothers.
Right.
Some brothers joined it for, and it's funny because you have years, right?
Yes.
So from this year to this year, brothers joined it to have that camaraderie.
Yes.
Then other brothers joined it for the historical fact.
Yes.
It must have been like whatever movie was playing that era, right?
Right.
But go into it, do what you got to do, have the conversation, keep masonry out of it, keep your morals in it.
Because it's going to shine anyway.
It's gonna shine anyway. So that whole part of it's a slippery slope that a lot of times you get into what masonry doesn't want to represent, which is titles and all this other stuff,
Right.
and walks of life, right?
Right,
Just
right.
just enjoy the moment. You have a brother, an upstanding human being
that you're
in
meeting and
front
just
of
having
you.
a great experience with.
Enjoy
Let's
it.
not talk about other stuff. If it does come up, because it will come up, that means it doesn't have to come up in that particular initial conversation, but it will come up. Now, when it comes to that type of Masonic intercourse, I wouldn't, like I said, I agree with you. I wouldn't go right back into and ask for a dude for his dues card. But from what I've learned, my pops was in a clandestine joint in Brooklyn. The one that the Brooklyn Masonic Hall, where everyone rents out.
The Flatbush, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
a Brooklyn guy.
I was in there. I know you grew up in Brooklyn. I'm from Queens, man. South Side, baby.
So let's to be clear, because I know again, my grandmother's and my father's East New York.
Okay.
My,
Baby Queens.
Yeah, right. It is. I grew up in East New York, Ridgewood. I'm a Ridgewood guy.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
wow.
a Ridgewood guy.
Okay.
I moved out here into North Bath later on in my years, but yeah, Ridgewood. Every weekend I was in Ridgewood, East New York.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
What part of-
Bushwick. Yeah,
What
that
part of Queens
area.
are you
but-
from?
I grew up in I grew up in Cambridge Heights.
Okay.
I grew up in Cambridge Heights. You have to say it very fast because it's like a smart. Because it's a very, I would say, middle class, affluent, work hard. I grew up in a nice Tudor home, whatever. Went to St. Catherine, Siena. Not even Catholic. It's not even religious. But then it's one thing. to grow up with your family, and then my mom's and then one of my father in my life. So we moved to Southside. And then my two little brothers came about. And I grew up on God Brew, 134, Lost Boys, Rochdale.
Yeah. I know. I used to.
Lex Cooper Beamers and the Benz.
I worked in South Jamaica.
That's it.
I worked
Southside.
I worked in a 103.
Yeah, the 103.
Yeah.
That was a great precinct, actually.
A
Yeah.
lot of good street racing over there.
Yeah,
too.
the 105 is good too,
Yep.
ish. And then I moved to Baisley. That's the 113 sector.
113. Yep.
And then I was going to Jackson at the time, Andrew Jackson. Went to Andrew Jackson. I went to junior high school 72, and then 2002 we moved to Suffolk County.
Mm-hmm.
And not for nothing, that being 20.
Where in Suffolk did you move to?
East Patchogue.
Okay, because that'll move into my question I got after this.
Yeah, so
Keep
East
going.
Patchogue. Long story short, though, that I've been living there ever since. Still have the same house. My brother's grown. One lives in England now. My father lives in
wow.
England. He's a British citizen. My father and my brother has dual citizenship, and my other brother lives in Troy, Waterville.
Okay,
which
Troy, New York.
Troy, New York.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say Troy, and then but then yeah. So that's my story, and I'm still here. And I've
So
been
how many?
picking up to
Yeah,
where I come.
how many brothers in?
Oh, two. Yeah, my brother Lloyd. He's the middle child. Ashton's the youngest one. He
Okay.
lives in England.
God
He's
bless.
coming back to the United States at some point, but you gotta let them follow their dreams.
Right.
Your
follow-up question, Matt. I'm eager to hear.
So, growing up in Camper Heights and then
Yeah.
South Jamaica and then Long Island and Patchogue, and then joining Masonry and being a brother of both Prince Hall and 23rd Street. In New York, we call it 23rd Street. That's
Yes,
what
of course.
do you feel that your outlook on life has been, because let's just say it, you've lived in whiter neighborhoods, you lived in minority neighborhoods, and then you lived in whiter neighborhoods.
Yes.
I grew up in Amityville. I grew up in Amityville Village, but I went to Amityville School District.
So you know the demographic.
I've had exposure to every
is good.
demographic.
This is crazy.
All of us have.
good
This is why we're
conversation.
talking.
This is a good
Do you
conversation.
feel that that's kind of shaped you to be a better Mason? In my
Yes.
personal view, I feel like, especially at first before I was a Mason, because
I love this.
I was a police officer before I was a Mason, and I've saw. I'm gonna just say it. I've seen the culture shock
Yeah.
in the people that I work with, and 99% of them get over it. Where they're from a non-minority neighborhood.
Correct.
They moved, working in South Jamaica, Queens, and there's that culture shock.
Yep.
My parents sent me to public school, probably for a reason, was to say, like, listen, like, the world is diverse.
The world is diverse.
And everybody is a human and is and there's good in everybody. It doesn't matter
I
what
agree
you
with
are.
you.
So
I love how you said that.
do you feel that that's made you a better Mason?
Yes. So Cambridge Heights, when I was growing up, was white. Okay. Cambridge Heights, I had the Italian sisters at the end of the block. They lived together.
Were they cute?
They were 90 years old.
But you didn't answer the question.
Yeah, they were nice. I must say, they were very nice, and they were sweet people. And that's how I learned that you can make your own sausages at home, because they had a sausage pusher, like a grinder pusher.
yeah.
I was like, this is weird. So, but that was culture. Then I went to PS 186 in Belrose. Boom. They wanted me to go to a white school. No, but then come back home to a mixed community, St. Catherine, to hide me from the community to go. But we're not, Catholic. But it taught you structure. Going back to what you said about Freemasonry, teach you structure. Sometimes those type of structured schools give you structure, and then a 70 is barely passing, where in public school 65 is, or 75 was in private school was 75 was a bare minimum. It teaches you to reach for the higher heights.
Right.
So then, boom. Now moving to South Side, and now you got to know your street smarts. This is why I love
we're potting
Freemasonry.
right now.
This is why I love Freemasonry in the street. and I apply that to Connect Quad, which is the whitest lodge you can ever imagine. You know,
Shout out to Connect Quad.
Shout out to Connect Quad, first black past master ever, a man of color, whatever you want to call it. You know, because people don't want to say black.
Yeah, but wait. You also, at the same time as Johnny Espinal, which is a brother
That's
I
my
hold dear
man.
to my heart.
That's my man.
You guys,
Mi gente.
let me.
Love
you
it.
guys were worshipful masters on the 300th year of recognized masonry. No,
Are you serious?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
No.
1717.
That's
Right?
my
17,
son,
17.
though.
So
What?
2017, right? You were master.
Yes. No, 2018.
So, but
So you were
but,
couple,
no,
you
but
17 to 18.
Yes, 17, 18.
So,
yeah,
so
so
yeah,
the 300
300th
the
year,
300th year.
of speculative masonry.
Organized Grand Lodge
So it
masonry.
came together in that sense. That's impressive.
Yep.
You didn't know that, brother?
No, and I
come
was
on,
on
man.
it, and let me tell you something. I'll be
A
on it.
historian like you?
I'll
Come
be
on.
on it. You know, that's why I need y'all in my life. So, but I'm gonna hold that, and I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. But like, it did make me a better person. It made me a better Freemason because it made me be able to go to those things like, yo, it ain't like that over here.
Right.
Come through, or nah, they cool. Yeah, they do it differently. Let me just show you. Let me show you how we do it, or whatever. And then so then when I went over there first, you know, I had more. We podcasting. I had more backlash on the Prince Hall side because I was with the white people.
Wait,
Hey, listen,
can I ask you a question?
you know,
Yeah.
this is the only way I feel that
I did,
I feel that society.
and it's
Well,
terrible
not-
how you got to say it like that.
No,
This is
but
true.
I feel like
We gotta break
society
down those
will
barriers,
never.
though.
Yeah, I feel like society won't sit down and have the hard conversations because when you say it out loud
People
in front
are
of other
afraid.
people, you actually see how stupid it really is.
Everything.
Because we were all brought up in a different way of thinking.
Yes, we're all the same generation.
We shouldn't be like tap dancing around stuff. Like just say it.
Just say it.
Because you're
and that's
maneuvering.
the beauty about masonry is like you know that there's nothing I'm saying that's trying to offend you, even if it may
Exactly.
come out like maybe a little wrong if I don't like put it in the right words. You know my
You
intention.
know my intention.
My intention is not to say something
Right.
stupid.
I might come
so
off
as
wild,
long as you
but-
start on that baseline, and that's what you should do to people is like give them the benefit of the doubt. Like start at this person's trying not to be a dirtbag, and then go from there.
common
And even then,
understanding, right.
I'll just give a quick short side story. I'm not going to say where or when because if the person watches it, they'll know. But there was a situation in my life where I know another brother, and we had contact with another brother that's not of our lives. We've never met him before. We had contact with him, and we didn't know he was a brother. Mm-hmm. And we found out that the way he was acting was kind of like digging under our skin, was kind of pissing her off. This is before we knew he was a brother.
Roger.
Then we found out he was a brother. And the brother that I spend time with, I said to him, all right, we found out he's a brother. Let's let him know we're
So
brothers.
Where we at, right?
And then let's see if his actions and words change. And the brother that I spend time with was like, nah, that guy's kind of a dick. I'm like, let's
Give him a chance.
let's let him know we're brothers. Let's give him a chance to shoot us straight, and then let's not pass judgment, but then let's see how we handle it from there.
How did that go?
And
I'm excited.
and we did let that brother know.
How'd you let him know?
We ran into him, and
Code Red.
we
Santiago.
we did our.
Oh,
We said, we whispered hot lunch to each other.
heard you.
We let him know, like, hey, listen, I heard some. Being secretary of the lodge beforehand, I was able to look him up.
Miori.
Yeah, so I went into Maury. I was able to look. I'm like, let me just see, and I got contacts in Prince Hall too. So I was like, all right, let me see if I find him here. If not, I'll reach out to my contact in Prince Hall and see if he's a brother, And he was. So we did our thing, let him know we were brothers in our own way, and then the brother changed the way He was handling shit. He was
Because-
handling things.
Conducted himself
Because-
accordingly.
Now-
He
being-
wasn't like,
now
you know, it
being
wasn't a
watched
full
was like,
180. It wasn't a full 180, but there was enough there.
It was
that
like one of those.
Yeah, but can I say
yeah,
something? Can I say
it
something?
kind of reminded him, hey, listen, like,
Sway
what you're
actions.
doing is kind of like, it's causing an issue on our end. Like, can you
Yeah,
just,
but-
just, you know, just remember that we're brothers. Whatever you do, just remember that what you do affects us and we're brothers.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, a lot of times in building relationships, people start at 0, people start at 1,000. Certain people throughout their walks of life might say, you don't deserve the best version of me. You're going to get the bare minimum. So the fact that I know you're a Mason, all right, listen, sorry. I'm here. I'm going to adjust my behavior. I'm going to adjust the attention and also my contribution to a system.
Right, and it shouldn't be like that default with everybody. Unfortunately, society 99% of the people, they feel they owe nothing to nobody.
To anybody, right.
There are,
I agree.
and I feel like that we and in Masonry we have a vast more majority of
It's
the
a
people
ladder,
that start a little bit higher than normal, where we say, I might not know this person in person, might not be a brother, but they're gonna get at least, you know, let's on a scale of 1 to 100. They're gonna. My baseline's gonna be, you know, 50%
Yeah, but
effort.
you're dealing with the human race.
The human race, like normally,
The human
normal
race is
people
a
inside, they
bad
may be
one.
like, all right, you're. I don't know you from a hole in the wall. You
Right,
may
so
get
I
you may
don't
get
give a
10%.
damn.
You may get
Right.
10%.
Right.
You know, so Masons maybe start a little higher, and then if we
Yes.
find out you're a brother, we probably like
Yes.
elevate that because
Yes.
if they're really a brother and they kind of understand what we teach,
That's
we
what I
go,
do.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I don't start at 10% with the human race. I give them at least 25 because I'm a good dude.
Yeah.
I
So that's
do-
what I'm saying. Like
I have
Masonry
a-
has brothers that
Right.
just default are just
I do-
way higher than normal.
Even in the block of my life that people, you know, people have situations. We talk about ebbs and flows. I'm going through an ebb right now, but you know, that doesn't mean I got to take it out on you. Doesn't mean I take it out on you. Even though we're brothers, I'm talking about the population. I gotta, because you don't know what anybody's going through.
Well, again, right?
So I'm gonna show you some love, but you treat me like you play me, I'm gonna play you, B. I'm not playing. It's gonna,
But in life, certain people, right? Regular life gets in the way. 50% of people are trying to survive. 50% of the people are trying to thrive. Masonry throws a wrench in the whole thing and says, you're not trying to thrive or survive. You're trying to contribute. Let me help my fellow man out. Take a step
but see, you
back.
being righteous.
No, it's not being righteous. Well, again, right, when people go into church, what happens? You're getting the best version of people.
Oh yeah, because they
doesn't-
look nice, they look beautiful, and yeah. But you know what? What you doing when you passing that tray around? You think you better because you putting that dollar in, or if you ain't got it, you a bad person because you can't.
So
We
Catholic.
potted.
So yeah,
Word.
so Catholic Church.
I love that, by the way.
Some people feel obligated.
I love that.
You know,
This
some
is what
some
it
people
is.
feel obligated, where they're like, you know, like just something I have to do, and structure sometimes can do that to people, where they just are like, this is something that's just expected of me, and you can't look at life as having any expectations from people, from
Boom.
whoever you
System.
a system or from your higher power. Don't expect anything.
I agree with
Just
you.
take it one day at a time and say, what I'm doing makes me feel good now, and hopefully it pays off in the end. Saying, if this homeless person asks me for $1, you know what? It's not a guarantee. If I
It's
can
not a
just
guarantee.
I'm going to give this homeless person $1, and
Yes.
God's going to be like, you know, God bless
Oh,
this
good
person.
for you.
You're
know
buying,
what?
yeah. Like,
you
but
know,
that-
it feels like you're buying something,
Right.
and I feel like brothers
Yeah.
sometimes feel like they just pay their dues, and they're like, and that's it.
You just
no, it's
you felt me just now because like today I was on patrol. Right? I was just doing RMP regular stuff. Right. I go to the bodega because I'm the one. I'll go right into the store. I'm like, yo, okay, what's poppin'? How you doing? Let me get that quarter leg of pollo.
Taco
Right,
money.
there. Right. So she's like, hey, how you doing? So I get my thing, pay $4, whatever. I get green tea. I saw a dude. Now this dude was nodding. I said he was on it. He was nodding. I'm like, damn, I gotta go to the store. If I get a green tea, let me get a second one, and he might not even remember me, but I gotta pull over. I'm like, yo, you good? Come to the window.
But he might.
So
he might remember.
I gave him that green tea. He's like, I'm good, man. First of all, you bloodshot red. You on fire right now. And I saw you doing that.
The lean, yeah, the dip.
The dip. He was dipping.
Yeah.
So, and obviously we're from different walks of life where people can understand our lingo, and whoever understands, they know. And I felt bad for the brother. You know what I'm saying? I felt bad for him. So I pulled over and said, yo, I'm good. He's up. All right, boom. Take the green tea. I'm going to come back and check on you, all right? And I stayed there for a minute. He didn't even open that green tea for until 3 minutes because he went back down because he was enjoying his life, I guess.
Yeah, he was riding it.
He was riding it. So he came up, popped. The minute he popped it, drink. All right, I'm out. Sorry, but I'm like,
good.
I bounced. You know what I mean? Because I did what I did.
So
but I don't need to thank you. All I'm saying is help my fellow man.
Yeah, no one's looking for that.
Let me ask you a question, right? In a world where everybody's trying to disappear, how hard is it to let people know that you're seen?
It's very hard because nobody wants help anymore. Right. Everybody wants their own life.
But not only that,
but
people also want to be victims so bad.
Well, this is the generation. I don't need to be seen as a victim. I just told you as my brothers, and yeah, I'm going through it, but I'm not dying about it. I just want to continue to be up. Even if I'm one step, two step back, I still want to be out there. I still want to be up there because a beautiful person like ourselves, like beautiful people like ourselves, we want to strive and be the best and always have our best dress and like the church analogy. Mm-hmm. We always want to be beautiful. And be helpful. Oh, I got this. I don't probably put some change in it.
What people forget, though, is environment is everything, right? If I have the best version of you, I'm going to be the best version. And that's why masonry comes in, right? We leave our ego at the door.
You have to.
So when I walk into this door, I'm around gazillionaires, and I'm around people who are living check to check. But at the end of the day, we're here to say, hey, brother, if you need anything, I got you.
And I lost that. And that goes back to Teddy Roosevelt, his worshipful master being the gardener. You ever heard that story?
No, tell me. I didn't hear
know the story.
Yeah? This is abridged. Yeah. This is like all the Mason haters.
We potted.
No, don't come at me. Don't come for my head. Don't hit me don't DM me. But long story short, they was in the lodge. The gardener, Teddy Roosevelt's crib was the worshipful master of his lodge at one point.
He worked for Teddy.
Yeah, but he worked for him. So Teddy had to put his joint to the side. I don't give a damn how many times you went to Africa and shot lions, you mess damn fool. I don't give a damn. I went to your house.
Yeah, word.
I didn't like it. No, I'm just playing. I don't care.
You know what's great about this? Teddy Roosevelt would have laughed at this.
Exactly.
If you ever watched videos or read like stories about him,
humble.
He was humble, and he was.
And he talked some junk.
He would have just.
He had a bad life growing up too. Like they thought he was going to die.
I mean, he
had a
from
big
Memphis,
heart,
but it was weak.
Yeah, he was weak.
He was weak.
That's why they told him to be out in the street and
Wait, let me ask you a question. Though, right? So a lot of us, right? You, me, you, we're all people who live certain walks of life.
Yeah.
We've all been weak physically at times, but mentally, we've been strong.
Yes, I've been stronger.
But
we've been
in being strong, right? We've been taught that vulnerability is weakness.
Yes, it is.
In our latter years
I say
of our
yes,
life,
it is.
right?
I agree
but
with
it's
that.
not though, because to shine light and address certain flaws that we may have.
Yeah, but that goes back to the
That's
same
strength.
argument that he said. Like,
But that's strength,
you
no?
can't be weak. That's why people showed you 10%, because I don't need to be nice because you're gonna F me over.
Right, but that comes back to the baseline.
As an idea.
If you should just say, let me expect the best out of somebody first, or let me expect. Maybe
that's
not,
dangerous.
Maybe not that.
That's dangerous.
It's
too.
dangerous, but I've
agree.
always felt like
agree.
maybe not like through the roof, like giving the shirt off the back, but like let me look at somebody and say, you know what, this person is at least if you started a good person,
Matt.
I feel like in the world nowadays,
Matt, you're being righteous. Now I'm gonna call you out for
that's fine. But, sometimes
we're
we look at it and we go, this person's automatically bad.
We're middle class Americans. At the end of the day, whether you slice it, cut it, we're middle class Americans, and in America, it's run and gun.
It is.
Everybody's an opportunity. So that's where masonry is so important, because at that time when you walk through the doors of lodge, I'm trying to help you, brother. You're trying to help me. And
Connections. I'm with it. Establish
it's
connections.
connection. Yo, how can I help you, right? But at that point in time, but things don't happen to me. I happen to things.
What?
Things don't happen to me. I happen to things.
I love it.
I'm at that point in time. What can I do for you, brother? I'm not here to try to cash in favors.
Right. It doesn't always have to be like.
Right.
It don't have to be financial.
Right.
I'd rather just
be. It could be listening to the person.
Yeah. And that's why masonry is a middleman sport.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a middleman sport.
Let me tell you something. Like now, like especially nowadays, and I can only speak for. How old are you, brother?
39. I look fantastic.
Yeah, I love you, bro. I love you, bro.
That's what happens to you in the community. Mixed community.
So I'll be 37 in a couple weeks. Danny's what, 34?
34, but I'm bald.
Dad, I'm the older kid?
Yeah,
You brought the... Oh, man.
Sorry, I got the
No. You know what? We had Ray here tonight.
Oh,
Ray, he's
thank
85.
God. Thank God.
But he's got hair too. Oh my God.
No, but you know what they say? Like, you got to look at this podcast.
My cocoon is the worst. Yo, but I'm a fly.
At the same time, they say that a bald man's testosterone is higher. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they say a bald man's testosterone is high. So he's like the alpha male right now. He's just raging.
Well, that's why he's got his hat on.
He's like the what we call it, like who's the show enough? Like you know, he's in the Last Dragon, got the freaking the orange oil going on.
No, listen, I wish I could grow the beard when I had the hair.
I could not grow a beard.
But like the hair is there, but it doesn't go to the top floor. You know, it's in the lobby.
It's in the lobby.
Ground floor of the King Solomon's Temple.
but yeah, like it's crazy how you don't want to open up to people, but I can see why, and yeah, I can see the righteousness in your argument. But again, when you want to be the best person, because Freemasonry teaches you how to be the best person version of yourself.
Right.
Going into a lodge, you can't be like, oh, I got this. Let me help you do that because I got these connect. No, it's about the communication, the conversation. You know what I mean? Like I don't say I use, because when you say I use this as that, then it's like, oh well, what are you really in it for? Yeah. No, I definitely was like, yo. The lodge got mad good people. Hypothetically, a Freemasonry got the Masons in the lodge, they're people who work hard, blue collar people, or own their own businesses or whatever. Hey, how can I learn from you? How can you learn from me?
No,
you know
let me ask you a question, right?
I'm with that.
I'm gonna jump
the
on
attentive ear.
The attentive ear, right?
Yeah.
How as a young man in an old man sport.
Okay, let's talk about it because I got an answer for that.
And I think this is something our generation feels heavy.
Okay.
A lot of times when we're not picking fruit off a tree that we're not watering, we're like, why am I here? How many times do you feel like you put the fraternity on your back in your lodge?
Many times, because they didn't want to change. They didn't want to travel. They didn't want to improve their
travel.
ritual.
You travel.
They didn't want to improve the travel. They didn't want to have people come in. They didn't want to have people from other jurisdictions come visit. They didn't want to change up their what's it called, prime rib. I didn't know what prime rib was. You know, let me tell you something. I was like, I got to pay $50 for prime rib. I brought my little brothers with me. That's when I was taking care of them. 'Cause I told you I was at Natural Garden. I brought my girl. Yeah, we're going to have prime rib. All right, bro. So I spent like about like $150 per, you know, whatever, like as a whole, you know. And then they put up this stupid steak. I was like, where's the ribs at? I thought it was ribs, man.
Right.
Honestly,
But Perma was good.
I've had some of the best jerk chicken in my entire life. Where I was working.
Where was it?
There's a guy, you know the what's it called? The side door on Geyer Brewer.
The door.
Yeah.
It's not called the side. It's called the door, man.
Door. I'm sorry.
Yo, shout out to Deuce Deuce. I'm sorry. Shout out to Deuce Deuce. Shout out to the door.
It's been about 7 years since I worked inside.
The door is good. The door is good.
Some of the let me tell you something. Best kept secret.
Yeah?
In
NYC?
Apparently, the oxtails were better than anybody.
Oh, the oxtails are good. There is a guy that has a barbecue on that corner, across the street.
Hold on.
He just is on the street.
Going towards Baisley Park?
Yep. Going towards Baisley Park.
That's where they used to sell watermelons back in the day.
Watermelons and that.
And cantaloupes. Cantaloupe.
Some of the best jerk chicken I've ever had in my life.
Let me tell you.
And I'm not a spicy person, so I always tell them, like, they're like, how spicy do you want? I'm like, not too spicy. I'm like, and they go, all right, not that spicy. I'm like,
sweet
all right.
sauce.
I'm like, listen, white guy, not spicy.
You're not that way, though.
I'm Italian.
Yeah,
I'm Sicilian.
yeah.
So I've been told, the Sicilians are not, you know.
Yeah, no, let's go do that.
But, oh, man.
Yes.
I want to tell, I've been talking to the brothers from the Prince Hall Lodge.
Yeah.
Like, there's a guy that caters and downstairs for us. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, I do jerk chicken. I'm like, oh, we should do a jerk chicken night.
Yeah, we should.
Babylon used to do a clam bake every year. When they used to do it so our lodge was constituted in 1887. Mm-hmm. Probably like the turn of the century, all the way up to probably the 60s or 70s. They used to do a clam bake here.
Well, because you can go right out to the bay and go get it. Now, these days you can't, because I wouldn't go in there. I'm just saying. I wouldn't do that.
There's so I was saying, like, why don't we do like a jerk chicken, like barbecue like type thing, and you're invited to Babylon's gonna be having a barbecue. We're gonna be having a barbecue. We do a barbecue every year with Jep the Lodge.
Yes,
and
yes,
we
I know
roast a
that.
pig and we do all that kind of
The
thing.
pig roast is amazing.
Pig roast, ribs, all that kind of stuff. So
don't forget some fried fish. I'm not gonna lie. You need fried whiting.
Yes.
You need whiting.
Or cod, because I'm Sicilian, so we eat the cod.
But you know, I do a great kind of fish and chips. I did it for Katie last night before she went to my girl. She traveled to North Carolina, so I did mussels and clams, little necks, just white wine. But table wine, because you don't want to spend money on just evaporating the alcohol.
Yeah.
So table wine, salt, pepper, whatever. I do a nice white wine sauce and garlic, and that's what we add for the appetizer. But cod was my beer batted cod with chips. Mm-hmm. You know, but I love cod. But whiting, you got to try. You never,
I've had whiting. Yeah.
It's a very culturally specific fish, if you will.
Yeah, the Sicilians are kind of like the outcasts of Italy. So
But cod is amazing.
we eat very similar, like
We're
food.
cousins, Papita.
The Moors.
Yeah.
They
Right.
bridge the gap.
So I asked my parents. I'm like, because I have a hyphenated last name, but so I'm from Sicily, and then some of my family's from like England, Dutch, like kind of a mix, and my Italian name it ends in a consonant, doesn't end in a vowel, and people always say, like, that last name's not Italian. I'm like, okay, well, was it changed to Ellis Island? There's always the next question I get. Was your name changed to Ellis Island? It wasn't. And I'm like, all right. No, I still have family over there. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, how come your name ends like this? I'm like, well, my dad told me. He's like, well, Sicily was conquered by everybody. Everyone who could sail there conquered it. Because the people were like, all right, whatever.
It's like, fine, what are we going to learn now?
Yeah, all right, fine. You conquer us. Like,
That's what's so, like the language is very, I guess, diverse, if you want to say.
Yeah,
Can I use the word diverse in that particular language? Because it sounds, there's certain words that are like
so Yeah,
Right.
even there's a brother. I work with two brothers. That one is my partner. He happens to be a brother here in this lodge.
Outstanding.
And another brother works in our unit. I actually work. There's a few brothers in the unit that I work in the city. One of them is my direct partner. I work with them every single day, and the other one is in another little section in my unit. And they're both brothers of this lodge.
That must be so nice.
Oh God! And let me tell you something. And Danny knows him. The brother that I was actually raised with when I worked in the 103 in South Jamaica, Queens. I was his partner for almost 10 years, and he's a brother here. We used to do the Q&A as we were driving around.
That's what I'm talking about.
We were driving around. We'd go to what's the lodge in South Jamaica? We'd pop in.
You're talking about the one on 110 in Briggerhoff, right there.
Yep. Yeah. We'd pop in there, and we never made it to a lodge meeting. We'd pop in, see the secretary, and we'd say hello to them.
Not
and
Trinity.
No, Trinity's not there. It might be Jamaica Lodge.
No, it's not Jamaica Lodge. Hold on, I got you. It'll come up in a minute. But continue the story as I look it up.
So that's where my Masonic journey started. I was interested in it. Both my grandfathers were Masons. One was a Mason in Amityville Lodge. The second was a Mason in Wantagh Morton Lodge on Long Island. And my father was never a Mason. He just was so busy. He was a police officer also. Busy with me, busy with him.
Lebanon Lodge.
Lebanon. Yep, exactly. There you go.
Shout out to brother David Barron.
And great brothers over there. And they always have a great barbecue.
Right,
too.
worshipful David Barron.
Oh, they have great barbecues over there. And unfortunately, never got to meet them at a meeting.
Really?
And we would, because we were always working. So
That makes sense.
whenever we saw the gate open, I'd walk in there and just say hello to them.
I love it.
Yeah. So I was like, whoever's here, I'd just say hi to them. Because I used to work either midnights or day tours. So there wasn't that time that I was able to we were able to show up and be like, hey, we're here.
Right.
But we just pop in, say hello, and all that kind of stuff to them. And great guys, great brothers.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So they're like, oh, when did we get this going on? We get that going on.
Yeah.
Come down here.
There's something actually going on that I wanted to put y'all on because I just got an email. They're having an event. I think it's supposed to be here or something. But yeah, their events are amazing. And then just in general, they have the bar open and people are just so nice and it's cool. So there's something that goes on called mid-year, right? So mid-year is where Masonic business is taken care of, but then that's when the entire state of New York comes to. So we have something in Utica. We have a called St. John's Weekend, right? That's what we have.
Yep, St. John's Weekend, St. John's Day.
Right.
It's the whole thing.
But Prince Hall has mid-year. And you rent out a whole hotel, and if the overflow, it goes to another hotel. I've been going for years, okay? And it's amazing. And it's like you rent out suites. So certain lodges rent out suites. And it's not like you got to knock on the door. It's fun, like on a late night, you knock on the door, boom, boom, boom. And you come in, and then, it's cool. But in the middle of the time, it's like college years. You go into one room, oh, hey, that felt like fellowship rooms, or whatever. Hey, what's going on? And you got your shirts on.
Let me ask you a question, brother.
It's beautiful.
What? I apologize for cutting.
No. We'll just fill in the gaps.
What?
Just spreading
and
that
I
extra
know-
mortar in between.
Yeah, mortar.
Extra mortar and mortar in between.
I know lineage and all of that plays a part, right? Your family. What do you love about Masonry? And I'm not talking Prince Hall. I'm not talking about 3-letter, 4-letter.
I know where you're coming from. What do I love about Masonry?
We're gonna go deep down the rabbit hole.
Hit it.
We're gonna deep down the rabbit hole.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to stop you guys,
No, I got that. I'm compartmentalizing.
but we're gonna thank everyone for joining us, and we'll go.
Absolutely.
This will roll over into the next episode.
Outstanding.
You
So-
dirty dog.
So good.
We gotta break them up somehow.
No, you're right.
Gotta break 'em up somehow.
I'm gonna be wearing the same like
Brother
polo.
Anthony,
Yeah.
I gotta start bringing different.
Brother Danny, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
I love you guys.
Love you
And
guys.
We're gonna continue this on the next episode of the Fourth Pop Podcast.
Absolutely.
Yo, we potting.